Well, this is real, and I have to say something real. When my little sister was little, make her sit there while I put mascara, and we fought. I mean, she one time shut my fingers in the door, but my sister and my brother say I was mean. I guess I was at times, but they were also mean to me. It's like they want to blame me for everything because they can, because I'm the scapegoat, and they don't accept responsibility for themselves. My dad has terrible teeth. And I read, well, he's had to have screw ins. Luckily, his father left him a bunch of money, so he's got his teeth. But depression can cause that enzyme. Then my sister's got really bad arthritis, and that can also be caused by an enzyme from stress if she's trying to control everything. I guess they used to come to my house and play with my horses, but when I lost financial stability, all of a sudden I became something they didn't want to deal with. And one time I was out at the house. I don't know, I was disciplining Hillary. I was saying something to Hillary, and my sister didn't agree with it, so she kicked me out of the house. And I hitchhiked home. I met this guy, David Reynolds. He gave me a ride. My dad and my brother passed me on Route 60, and they asked me if I wanted a ride, and I said, no, I want to hitchhike. And I only had charm. She was green. Then I was at the family, my daughter's college graduation, and I just said something about Alan had a heroin problem and Jerry had alcoholism. She came over. She physically assaulted or battered me. She grabbed my wrist. Like, it's too much for her. Reality's too much for her. She lives in poof world. Her husband brings home a certain amount of money as a doctor, and she makes her world, I would call it Pottery Barn slash LL Bean life, and any kind of money she stores. She has lots of stuff, but she never takes care of me. Like, I took her a bunch of CDs and books and stuff like that. She'd think, I don't know who that is. So then she cleaned up after the death of my mother. I mean, I put a painting up and they put it down, and I don't hate her. I don't hate her. It's not that. But of course, she invited my kids out at Christmas and Thanksgiving, and that made me very angry. They don't seem to be able to be sympathetic or empathetic to me. I cannot imagine inviting my sister's children on Christmas Day to my house where I have a lot of money and I can do a fancy dinner, and not including the mother. I mean, with no sympathy or empathy to me whatsoever, whatever my situation was. She's a wall. She's a complete wall. She's a diamond. She has no feelings, and I think she's masked them and covered them up ever since her childhood. Whereas I got therapy, and they don't want to talk about what happened. That my dad was having affairs, and mom had to get the police. Nobody talks about that, or the fact that my mom was very sick too on Wellbutrin. Chip gave an analogy, or at her funeral. It was beautiful, and it's mentioned all the good stuff she did, but nothing about her struggles that she had that affected all of us. I would like to move her off the farm. She's now bought a second house in Lynchburg. I think she's been there and done it with the farm, and her husband and her don't travel that they've ever traveled before. He kind of works, and then he makes her mad. She doesn't like sex. She told me one time it hurt her. She said, I don't like sex. It hurts. And then one time I went out there, and she goes, John wants me to give him a blowjob before he goes to work. She didn't want to. I was like, this is a guy you're married to? You shouldn't be married to him if you don't want to have sex with him.